Yeah.
That was fun. Hold on a minute.
I was like, do I talk? Should I sing?
Yeah, I accidentally left the show, so let's try that again.
Okay, redo.
Maybe one of the worst openings I've ever had. I realized I was out of the show all of a sudden. I'm like, crap.
I thought I was in the Twilight Zone.
I know. All right, here we go again. Hey, everybody, what's happening? Welcome to Thursday night. Time for stop. You take 1 week off and then it all goes to heck.
How much have you been drinking already?
Nothing. I've been working all day. Hey, it's Thursday night and time for another episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your one host, Jason. How are you? And with me, my frequent contributor, my producer, Dave.
Hello. Are you echoing? Are you frozen? This is going to be an interesting show.
It sure is. Also, I think your Wi-Fi was like my mom's.
Oh, I'm hardwired. I turned off my Wi-Fi.
Oh, that was weird. Then you froze.
Oh.
You're hardwired. Froze.
Oh, I thought you froze. Okay, anyway, I wanted to start this awesome show off by saying a couple things, okay? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
I watched your Selling Past the Expiration Dates, episode 4 with your mom about the seashells today. That's really interesting. And you convinced me to keep my shells and not sell them after all. I've got the helmet. I've got some really cool shells. They were from my aunt's estate. And I thought, well, that'd be a cool way to honor her and remember her. So I'm going to keep them. But what was so awesome in that is when you said that you were doing this when you were 6 years old. You were reading the Tide paper, notices and everything. And then what you did, you went to school with your shells and you taught the class. So I thought you have been teaching people since you were 6 years old.
Yeah, you're right.
Still teaching, and you're so good and you love it. And I was trying to picture you as this little guy up there showing your shells and talking about and the flute or whatever that thing calls that keeps the conch fish in there and all those different kind of things. So I just really appreciated that. I thought that was really awesome. And then I also wanted to give a shout out to the Pacific Northwest Tacoma, Washington meetup group. They meet at the Devil's Reef, and they should be watching us right now. They start early so that they can watch the show with us too. So, hey guys. Yeah. Hopefully they're watching. Are you there?
So I switch Wi-Fi's. We'll try a better Wi-Fi here.
I'll just keep talking. How's everybody doing?
Debbie show tonight. What's happening, Pacific Northwest? How are you guys? Yoo-hoo.
I can't wait to
you soon, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But right now, let's get to time for Jason's Tiki Talk. Each week, I drink a different rum out of a different mug, and I match it up to our guest. And our guest this week is the one, the only, the extraordinary Anna Hill.
Hi, Anna.
Look in her sexy best CPA look there. I'm telling you, all you're missing is like the little glasses. You can be straight off.
I need them. I need that.
How you doing, Anna?
I'm great, and I'm excited to be here. Good to see you, Jason. Good to see you, Debbie. Thank you for letting me join in the fun.
Oh, please. Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We tried to be inventive because we probably did the exact same last time, but it worked so perfectly. So I'm drinking World's End rum. It's nothing you can find in the States, but we were drinking it in Belgium.
We were.
And I'm drinking it out of the Vortex, which is a mug from a burger restaurant in Atlanta. But I don't think I shared our pictures last time, so I thought I'd throw those up real quick.
Oh, good. You have some? Wonderful.
Yeah, so there's a little tiny tiki bar in Ghent, Belgium called the Drifter, right?
It is. Yep.
And they actually close up for the season. So we were one of the last to have cocktails in the bar before they closed up for the season. So here we are. And for the longest time, we were the only 4 in there. So here we are just enjoying our cocktails.
My husband, Michael. Hi. There I am. What was that? That was a real, was it like a What was that drink? Do you remember?
I know. And we all had our individuals and we drank out of a giant pirate ship as a group. So
That was
yeah,
so fun.
if you ever get to Ghent in Belgium, it's an amazing bar. And they make their own rum. So he was making his own rum, and somebody who owned a manufacturing plant said, "That's amazing. Where can I buy some?" And he goes, "Well, I just make it here." He goes, "Well, we can make it, and bottle it and sell it for you." And he's like, "Sure." So it's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. That was what, maybe 4 or 6 tables and this little place, kind of a hole in the wall. And it was your and Stacy's anniversary, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think we should go back and repeat that trip, or at least part of it.
I would love to.
Oh, so I have a question. Did you get to write that trip off? Did you source and talk about?
It was not write-offable.
Wait, you told me to write off the whole trip.
The definition of write-offable is ordinary and necessary. So I don't know if it meets both of those, but I'm not the IRS sheriff.
All right, so get your questions ready. And when Anna's going to be different than the normal guests. We're not talking scores and duds and how they got here, selling and stuff. Anna's here to help guide all of us. So get your questions ready. Anna's going to chill out. And what are you guys drinking tonight? Totally forgot to ask.
I have ice water and a corksicle.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, getting crazy party, aren't you?
I may have a glass of wine afterwards, but
Speaking, since I'm in the wine country, and we got the new mug. It's from the Smuggler's Cove. This is the green one. Yeah, you can see it there. This thing is huge. It's like 32 ounces, but I have some wine in there. Wow. So,
Debbie's going to be on the floor drinking 32 ounces of wine.
No. I didn't put that much in there. No.
You're just going to see her foot sticking up, and that's it.
we have an extra green. If anybody's bought some and wants I want to trade for a red one from San Diego, and I know Jason's going to want to trade. We want the red ones from San Diego. So if anybody wants to trade for some greens, we got them.
Coolio. All right, Anna, have a chill out, relax, enjoy the show. We'll see you in a little bit.
Bye.
All right, let's get right to it, shall we? Time for our scores of the week. These are the things that you should be on the lookout for, or BOLOs for short.
Yes, this is Daughters of Alamont paperback book set. I got them in the bag sale at the library first. I probably paid $2 for them, and I held out for my full selling price of $48. $48. I put on my notes because I can't see, the screen's too small. Yeah, $48. And this is a Royal Creations shirt, size 5XL. I love it when I find the big sizes, and it sold really quickly for $35. We paid $4.99 for that.
Nice. I just listed 4 or 5XL shirts today. So
nice. And we have to remember too that vintage shirts are smaller, back in the day. So maybe that could really been a 4XL, but so that's why it's good to put the measurements in. And then this book, Salvador Dali paperback. So for $175, we were asking $225, and then the offer came up. So I offered it, gave the guy an offer of $175, and he bought it. I was shocked. $175 for a paperback book. But
where'd you find that?
It's a consignment.
Okay.
Yeah. They have the best ones. And then these, Jessica McClintock, everybody knows she makes dresses. Well, this was back in the 80s. We were all wearing her dresses. And then there's the valances and sheets and things too. So this was from my aunt's estate, all sealed in the package. She loved to shop. She was a QVC queen shopper. I don't know where she got these. So we've sold 2 of those. One person bought 2 for $120. So it was probably half of what my asking price was, but it had been a while. So I'm glad somebody was able to buy those.
And how funny, I just listed a vintage Jessica McClintock wedding dress.
No way.
See how we're all tied together?
We need to write a book about all these things.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, I wanted to share this one because it was kind of funny. The guy a customer writes me and goes, "Is this run true to size?" And I had to laugh because the last time I could wear a small adult t-shirt was probably the 2nd grade. So I said, "I don't know. I'm a tad larger than a small, but I have the measurements." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" I go, "They're in the description." And he said, "I'm so sorry. I didn't read the description." And then he bought the shirt. So Keith Haring was a wonderful artist, a gay artist who died of HIV or AIDS, I'm pretty sure. But if I'm wrong, someone will correct me. And I have a piece of his art that my wife gave me for our wedding hanging in our master bathroom. So I always love selling Keith Haring stuff, so that I like when I find it. Another pair of Rock Revival jeans just sold, $46.79. If you're not looking for Rock Revivals yet, you're missing out on the hottest brand of jeans right now. So my first pair of ice skates, yay!
We just bought a pair. Yay!
Good. So I bought these feet at a J.C. Penney's going out of business or something like that, and I forgot to tell my assistant, my teenage assistant, I have them, and she saw them one day, and all of a sudden she was doing using the feet in a lot of shoes and stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. Nice. It just adds that little bit to it, you know?
Yeah, makes them look alive.
Yeah, you can kind of picture your ankles going in there. I bought them for $6, so it was a good little flip.
Nice.
And I was at a Hoarder's estate sale. Didn't know this brand of flip-flops until that day. My wife knew the brand. I didn't, but I had 2 different pairs. Sold them both right away. Got great feedback right away. So it's Ulukai Rabbit flip-flops. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, a lot of great bolos.
And that's our regular stuff. Now it's time for my CD and cassette scores of the week. These are all the awesome cassettes and CDs I sold this week. And as always, we start with flipping cassettes. Now I had a couple mediocre, but I started to do this too, Deb. I added how much I paid into the screenshot. So I paid a quarter because it doesn't seem like, ooh, whoop-de-doo, $9. But no one would even pay a penny for Creed My Own Prison on CD. But someone paid me $9 plus shipping. So
nice.
That was an accident.
Did you show a quarter like you always show for your mom?
Oh, yeah, I should have. Hold on. Taking my mommy's quarter. There it is.
Nice.
The Hook soundtrack, again, I paid 50 cents, sold for $8.39 plus shipping. But then my good one, 7 Testament cassettes, sold for $66. Now, if you look, Deb, on the right, it looks like there's a square white piece of paper. I didn't realize I had a duplicate in there, and we'd taken all the pictures. So I just cropped the duplicate out of everything.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I didn't really feel like retaking the pictures. So quickly, I just cropped it out. So no one would even be any the wiser. But hey, when you get a set of cassettes from the same group, you can put them together in a lot, and you can get $60 for 7 used cassettes. All right, those are my flipping cassettes for the week. Here is my flipping CDs.
I love these pictures of you.
Now this one was I did pay $4 for it. Sold for $14. Not a big thing, but it was a Christmas 4-song sampler from Jethro Tull that just sold last week. And we're knocking on Valentine's door, and people are buying Christmas CDs still. So don't stop listing them.
That's right.
And who doesn't want the music from the films of Steven Seagal? Come on now. I've sold this CD over the years about 7 or 8 times. Paid $4 this time. Sold it for $25.
Nice.
There is a lot of money to be made in classical. I don't know it well enough yet, but I did pay $1.80 for this Mozart done by Arthur Grumeau and sold it for $27.
So did you scan that one, and that's why you did it? Okay.
Yeah, that was straight up from Savers. Mr. Spock, I did pay more. The store knew it was out of print. I paid $12, but I did sell it for $27.
Nice.
And I had never heard of this movie. You can watch it for free on YouTube. The Reavers, starring Steve McQueen. They're kind of like grifters, and I paid $1 for it and sold it for $38.
I just had a major flashback. I think I watched that movie way back. I don't know how old it is, but all of a sudden I'm like, I think I remember that movie.
Yeah, it's an old-timey one. Here's Porgy and Bess. I bought for $2 and sold for $40.
Wow, that's good.
I don't know Ian Matthews, but I did pay $9 for Some Days You Eat the Bear and Some Days the Bear Eats You, and I sold it for $50.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't have my slide up to where to sign up. Head over to jasonThrifts.com is where all my webinars are. And coming up very soon, like within 3.5 weeks, Flipping CDs Part 2. So here's the deal. It'll be way different than Part 1. It'll be all new content. So if you've taken Part 1, you're going to want to take Part 2. But if you haven't taken Part 1 yet, wait. because I'm going to offer a deal for those of you who haven't taken part 1 to get part 1 and part 2. And then we're also going to have a bonus webinar for those of you who want to buy the whole thing.
Awesome. I love how you price your courses affordably, because I buy a lot of courses for print on demand and things, and some prices are outrageous, and you keep yours affordable.
It's crazy the rare times I get grief for charging for it. I'm like, usually it's on sale for $47. Look, I just showed you a $50 CD I sold. If you find that CD based on my webinar alone, you've paid for the whole course in one CD. That's it.
And CDs are everywhere. Thrift stores, estate sales, garage sales. I was even, for a while, I was buying CDs at the 99-cent store and sending them into FBA at Amazon, but then they started getting picky. They wanted receipts, and I couldn't prove where I bought it, so I pulled them. But yeah, CDs are everywhere, so they're not hard to find.
Now, sadly, not everything is a good deal. Now it's time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours.
I think I showed this dud before, but I have an update. The offer came through to send an offer, and I had it listed at 22, and I offered $11, and someone bought them finally. They're almost like a child. One of my kids now. They lived here so long.
Yeah, you're like Angela with her stupid Christmas glasses. I keep seeing the same things from you two over. Like they just won't leave.
But this one left, so I'm so happy that it's gone. Yeah. So, price does matter. So sometimes, and just the right person. And then Monopoly Star Wars. Man, I was so excited when I found this. I think I paid $5.99, and I thought I was going to do really great. So we had it for 24, went through Christmas with it, and then someone offered us 12, and we're like, oh, so when we get an offer, a lot of times we'll check solds. What is this actually selling for? And that's all they're actually selling for, because it's not new. If it was new sealed, it obviously would be more money. So we sold it for 12 instead of 24. So we tried.
That's good to hear. James said part 1 made him money. I'll definitely be getting part 2. And then Rich and Nala said, ooh, Jason, who trimmed your beard? My little brother trimmed my beard for me.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been taking all my clothes that have been sitting in my store for far too long and running them 3 weeks in a row at $9.99 auctions. And so of those all the things I've pulled, I usually sell about 5 to 8 of them a week. So I'm still moving them out. I'm still collecting a couple dollars. And then the rest I'm cross-posting, which we'll talk about in a later episode. But this one finally went. Some Harley shirts do really well. And this one sat in my stores to buy it now for over 2 years. And then it ran 3 times at auction for $9.99. And someone finally scooped it up.
Yay, bye-bye.
Okay, I have these adorable but tiny troll doll slippers, new with tags, in my store that no one has ever made a nibble on. And so if your kid loves trolls, I would happily take $12 for these. Make me a $12 offer, Tiki Pug music, and they are yours.
You could give your kids the slippers and then buy the troll movie, and it could be a cute little basket.
There you go. All right, now it's time for Where in the World Did Our Stuff Go? If you are not shipping internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B. Very good. Yeah, I like that. Potential customers. Somehow Debbie didn't have any.
I think we're going to have to start doing where in the U.S. did you sell? Because I just don't have that.
All right. So I want that. Look, it's only sold for $11, but I always try and push myself and my co-host to pronounce crazy cities. So this is going to Krasnogorsk, Russia, right outside of Moscow. So if you don't know what the Big Hug Mug was, it was an integral part of the first season of True Detective with Matthew McConaughey. So apparently Moscow just got True Detective this year. And so off it went. But they paid a good amount for shipping. So even though I only paid a quarter for the mug, even though I only sold it for $11, I made about $4 on shipping too. So not too bad. Not
nice.
bad.
Nice.
All right, now it's time for Close Encounters of the Thrifty kind. And this week, Deb and I each have one, which is always a plus.
Yeah, I never usually have them. Okay, Bill and I were sitting at Sam's Club sharing a piece of pizza. And we're sitting
as one would do.
Yeah. And these ladies were sitting next to us. So one of them looks over at us and goes, "Do you like to go to thrift stores?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yes." And I'm looking down at my shirt thinking, do I have an eBay shirt on? Why is she asking me this? And so I go, yeah, okay. And Bill said, yeah. And then she said, "Wow, the Opportunity House in our town, that's the thrift store that's right by our post office. We're regulars." She goes, "They're having a half off sale." I'm like, "What?" She said, "The whole store." And they have a vintage corner where they buy estate sales out. And so all that stuff back there, the more pricey stuff, the whole store. So Bill and I hurry up, ran over there. And we were in that store the day before and no one mentioned having a half off sale. I mean, they always have a sign in the door, half off shoes or this or 20% off. So we got over there. And because of these ladies, we actually went twice. We came home, put our groceries away, and then we went back again. So full retail would have been $103. We got it for $51. And what we have listed and if the total of everything listed is going to be $388. So if it sells, it'll be $388. So those little old ladies minus our costs are probably going to make us about $336. Because we just happen to be sitting there. And I'm like, nobody ever says that. Do you like going to thrift stores?
I know. What a weird start to a conversation with random strangers.
Yeah. And that's why I said, I looked at Bill, I looked at me in my sweatshirt. I'm like, do I have eBay all over me or something? But yeah, it was awesome.
And had 2 international sales this week, Uruguay and Western Australia. So that's awesome. And Laura wants to know if I FOMO the mug to Russia. Now, there's really no need to FOMO when you're shipping internationally because it just goes in a little 8x8x8 cube and away it goes. And using pirate ship, you save so much money anyway. Yeah. There's no real need to do the extra work. All right. Mine's a 2-parter. Okay. It's funny and it's amazing all in the same thing. So Stacey and I are in Cleveland and her friend from college owns this ice cream shop. It's called Sweet Moses. And so it's in a little town called Lakewood and we're bouncing around Lakewood doing some vintage shopping. And Stacey, I said, let's stop at Sweet Moses and we'll get some ice cream and then we'll move on. And she said, okay. And so I plugged it into my phone. Well, when we pulled up, Stacey goes, "We're not at Sweet Moses." I'm like, oh crap. I plugged in Sweet Lorraine, which is in the same area. The Sweet Lorraine's an antique store. And although it has good stuff, a little overpriced usually, and really didn't work into my schedule to go. I said, well, shit, we're here. We might as well go anyway.
Right. So
here's the 2 parts of this. So I walk into the store. It's kind of after school, and there's a bunch of teenage girls in the vintage clothes. And as I'm walking up to them, I heard the one girl go, "Oh my God, it smells like old people." And then she sees me and goes, "Oh, sorry."
Oh,
So,
oh my God.
So apparently
it was the beard and the bald.
I'm an old person now as I was dragging my wrapped up foot.
I was going to say, did you have your crutches with you right then?
But so that's the first half of the thrifty encounter. The second half is I thrifted this awesome tiki shirt.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome.
From there. And here's why it's part of the thrifty encounter, because look what I sold last week. The same shirt.
Oh my gosh.
The same shirt.
Is. Oh,
How nuts is that?
That's crazy. And you weren't even supposed to be there. You were supposed
to be there. I got called old.
Eating ice cream.
I got called old, and then I found a cool shirt.
Was that the only thing you found in there?
We found a couple other things too.
Okay. So it was worth it.
Yes, that was a crazy thrifty encounter. Wow. All right, now it is time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me, little tips and tricks, what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping.
All right. There's been some chatter in the thrifting board. If you're not in the thrifting board, you need to join. So much awesome information. But some people have been asked to mark their international shipments gift. And we all know you can't. That's illegal. And people, the admins and people were telling them, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I was actually in Vegas once at one of the big eBay shows, and the top postmaster of overall the post office was there and said, absolutely not. It is illegal. Don't do it. So I just wanted to remind people in that little box where it would say description, you could put in gift, but don't do that because they're trying to circumvent their customs and duties fees. So just don't do it. Just
say no.
Just instead of Nike, just don't do it.
I did pay $30 for the shirt, which is quite a bit. But seems how I just sold one for $100. Yeah. I have to take new pictures because it's cut different because of the way the material was. But the bones of the listing are ready to go. Just some fresh pictures.
That's awesome.
Funny enough, by pure happenstance, my tip is about the same thing. And this is a tip we said before, but there's always new people tuning in.
Yes.
So I've been thinking, okay, every once in a blue moon, I'm going to throw an old tip in because some people missed it the first time, and we always have new people join the group, join the show. When you sell something online, whether it be eBay or Amazon or any platform that you use that platform then to ship your print your shipping labels, it pulls the exact title from the listing for the item description. And you don't need that for a couple of reasons. You just need, what is the item? Is it jeans? Is it, is it a hat? Because also, if it's going to a foreign country that doesn't speak English, what the hell is Tongo going to read to them? Even in the America, Tongo, that's the name of a tiki mug, by the way, would not mean much to anybody. But you could have words that could be not good words in other countries. Plus, now you got all these maybe fancy looking words where Tongan, tiki fire, it might look more attractive to a thief along the way. So you go from this tiki mug full title description to ceramic mug, and that is it.
Yeah. And I usually put, if it's a shirt, used book.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So do I sometimes too. And yeah, yes, I am back in Vegas, back in my office. Woo-hoo. All right. Now it's time for our thrifty tip of the week. Little tips and tricks, what to do, what not to do when you're out thrifting. Apparently, my thrifty tip should be plug in the wrong place in your GPS and you find some goodies.
Yeah, that's too funny.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Jenny, though.
No, I was like, I don't remember what I gave you about my sourcing tip. Have some business cards made in case you run into some ladies at Sam's Club that are sitting next to you. And in fact, the one lady looks at me and she goes, "Do you want to buy a table?" I said, "No, I don't need a table." Have some business cards made up so that if you're out and about, you go to a garage sale or wherever you're at, maybe you're at a party drinking cocktails with your friends and somebody happens to say, "Does anybody know somebody who likes to sell?" You can give them your card. It's just a good contact way to get your name out there, to let people know, hey, call me if you need some consignment, or maybe they're going to sell their whole house. You can buy out the whole estate. You can get them made at Vistaprint. And I've had cards made at Staples before. Picked them up the same day for like $10. So that's my tip. Do you like my phone number there?
Oh, shit. I didn't see it. What was it? What did it say?
You got to go back and look at it. Can you go back?
Chrome made it impossible to reopen your closed tabs.
Oh, okay. It said Jenny Doe 8675309.
Oh, nice. I missed that. Dang it.
Oh, you did.
All right, so here's my source and tip of the week. It didn't pan out as much as I hoped it would, but sometimes you got to take that gamble. I've never heard of this brand of pants or jeans, PRPS Goods and Company, and these are brand new. They're all paint splattered. The tag, as you can see in the lower right-hand corner, $325 new. Now I did pick them up at Ross, and I paid $50 for them because I was thinking, man, if they're $325, if I can get like even 200, 150, had them for a while, finally took an offer of 80. So when all the smoke cleared, I only made about $20. I didn't lose any money, but my gamble could have paid off bigger. It just didn't this time. But sometimes you got to gamble. I didn't lose, so that's a good thing.
So now if you see that in a thrift store,
oh yeah,
then you definitely, if you pay $3 for them. So
yeah.
That's a good test.
For sure. All right. There it is. Now it's time for our online tips of the week. Little tips and tricks when you're selling on Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark, Ruby Lane, eBay, The Real Deal. Oh, all of them.
Hop on and on. Okay, this came from Amy Lou in the Thrifting Board. That's a really good one. This is a tip for shoe resellers and any other thing you need to clean out to. This is a denture cleaner brush, and it's fantastic for cleaning shoes. A little tip on the bottom scrapes dirt out of the little crevices on the bottoms of your shoes, and then there's a brush that's nice and firm and clean all that, because I usually use toothpicks, and I hate it when the dirt flicks up in my face. So I thought this is a great tip. She actually thrifted this one. And then some of the other people, the comments were like, well, I'm going to go get me one of those too. So you can see it's got everything there that you need to clean things. And even sometimes figurines have dust and things that are hard to get to. So thanks, Amy Lou.
That is an awesome tip. All right. And just realized I have the actual example here sitting on my desk, so even
You
better.
have denture brush?
No, for my tip.
Oh.
All right. So when you buy CDs, there's this whole contingency of collectors who like the Japanese ones that are made to look, they're called mini LPs. So this is made to look like the original when it was on record. So it even has a gatefold like it did as the record. It prints the cover or the top of the CD to look like a record. Okay.
Can you put yourself on the big screen, maybe?
Sure. So butter, gatefold. The CD looks like a record. And then when this record originally came out, it also had a poster. So here's the poster. And then when you get these imports from Japan, they always have the lyrics in Japanese. So we all know that your customer never gets past the first picture, even though we all take a ton of gorgeous pictures.
Yes, we do.
But I want to show you what the difference between when you do a picture that sells the whole product in the first picture as opposed to those that don't. So my picture, oops, I didn't realize we were on screen. I am the first one, and then the other two people. So there's mine. It shows the CD coming out to look like a record. You see the poster, you see the lyric book, everything's in the opening shot. The middle person took it on their carpeted floor, and then the second person just left it flat. So it doesn't speak to you at all. Mine conveyed all of it in the opening photo. Now I do have other photos, but in case they don't get past it, they can see the poster, the lyric book, and the CD that looks like a record. They're called mini LPs. So make sure that when you're selling something that a lot of people have, is there something you can do to stand out from your competition?
Yeah, that's a great idea, because even if they weren't to read the description, they would know, oh, look, everything's there. All the parts are there.
Yep.
So this is a funny that was shared in the thrifting board. I forget. Let's see if I have the guy's name. And I don't. Oh, Daniel Smith. He posted this in the thrifting board. I added the laughing guys. His cat kept getting into his photo booth.
Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. Don't ever set your props on your iPad when it's open. Sorry, Debs. Go ahead.
Anyway, he said your cat won't leave you alone. Set up a decoy photo box and tell the cat not to get in it. And look what happened. The cat got in the phony one, so that left him his real one to take pictures. And I just thought that was hilarious. That's a great tip for cat lovers.
Yeah, that is a genius idea. All right, a couple quick commercials. This Den of Sin mug was stolen. So do me a favor, everyone. I'm going to tell everyone for a while to keep their eyes peeled. I got delivered to my friend's house and then stolen off the porch before he could even retrieve it. So if you ever see Den of Sin number 159 on eBay, Mercari, anywhere, I'll have a reward for you. So hit me up. And so if you ever see a Den of Sin mug listed anywhere, just double check, see if it's number 159. And then if you happen to see it, message me right away.
It could be on Poshmark too, because Poshmark allows home decor mugs and stuff too now.
All right, Secret Beachcombers, we're back to our Beachcomber store reviews. Gene Rasmus is our store review this week. I skipped last week's only because I was going to be in Cleveland, so I didn't really even talk about it. But we're back. So tomorrow night, if you don't have a hot date for Valentine's Day, join us at 8 o'clock East Coast, 5 o'clock West Coast in the Secret Beach. If you do have a hot date, enjoy it, and then we'll watch later.
Those are so fun because we all learn every time when we're all learning.
Speaking of Secret Beach, my February webinar of the month, keeping up with pop culture. Majority of us, not me, aren't all that in tune with what's happening in pop culture. But if you are in tune with it, it'll definitely help you sell things. So I'm going to talk about how I keep up with it, the places you can go, what you need to be listening for to be a better seller. So that is happening on Monday at 8 p.m. Monday is the holiday. I expect you all to go out and thrift. And then when you get home and you're exhausted, sit down and watch me. Then I'll do the heavy lifting. Next week.
I have to give a shout out. My friend RJ Martinez is in the chat watching us. He's a print-on-demand guru teacher, one of my buddies, and he's watching us. Hey, RJ.
What's happening, RJ? How are you? All right, next week. I talk about this often, just talk about the pair of jeans. Sometimes you have to spend big money to make bigger money. Sharon Bliss is going to be our guest next week, and oh my God, she dropped some coin, and the return has been ridiculous, and it's on CDs.
Crazy.
CDs that will blow your mind. You're getting a little preview of them right here, but I'll leave it at that. So you've got to tune in next week. She dropped thousands and made it back so fast your head would spin.
Yeah.
Look, we all want to find Peggy's quarter items. But man, if you can drop 3K and make 10K, 20K, 50K, you definitely should. Now, we're going to talk about this next week. If you get a lead to something that could make you that much money and you don't have the money, don't just let it go. Maybe you got a friend who wants to be a business partner with you that might have the pocketbook. So we're going to talk about that next week.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks, it'll be our board meeting for the month. Last month was our first board meeting where we get a panel of same demographic people. This month, we're doing single mother. So if you are a single mother and you somehow juggle getting your kids to school and selling on eBay, we'd love for you to be part of the panel. We have a good cross-section so far. But if anybody's watching tonight who fits this bill, single mother, selling on eBay, or Amazon, can be any platform, message me or Debbie, and we will maybe get you added to the show.
Yeah.
And then lastly, before we get Anna in here to answer all your questions, Thrifty coming to a city near you. Now, these were the 20 cities that we gave everyone the option, and those with the highest votes are where we decided to go. And we've already booked the first two. The specific details are coming soon, but Portland and Seattle are coming up the first week of April. And we're going to be working on getting Kansas City done, Indianapolis done, Nashville. Nashville's going to be a super special one, so stay tuned for that. Philly, Jersey, Tampa for sure. Oh, my God, there's so many of you in Tampa. I can't wait to come see you. So head over to thriftypalooza.com and get signed up. Where it says notify me, just pop in your email address and you'll be the first to know, because there are some cities that there are so many people who want to take the class. These will sell out quickly. So get on the email list so you know when each class goes live. And this will be going on throughout the whole year. So I'll probably be doing 1 to 2 a month throughout the rest of the year.
They're always good. It's fun to meet other sellers in your area and learn together.
And speaking of fun, there is no one more fun talking numbers than, where's my doorbell? Hey, Anna Hill, CPA Extraordinaire. How the heck are you?
Hi, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for letting me in and joining you guys.
Hey, where is this awesome picture taken at?
This was in Exuma, which is where in the Bahamas where the Fire Festival happened. Have you guys seen the Fire Festival documentary?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, was that the bad thing that happened?
Yes, it was. For those who don't know, it was basically some guy on Instagram, and he was selling tickets to millennials anywhere from $200 to $70,000 for this big music festival. And then everyone showed up and you had to stay in FEMA tents and eat like grilled cheese and stuff. It was a complete disaster. So they made a big documentary about it, but the island is beautiful. It's very pretty there and I highly recommend it.
It is.
And you get to swim with some nature.
I did. I got to swim with pigs. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're swimming on the beach, there's wild pigs swimming in the ocean with you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And then I went to Iguana Island and iguanas crawled on me. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I didn't, it just happened. So late. I didn't want to run. I was afraid they'd run after me. So.
All right. So I met Anna many, many years ago and we became friends, quick friends, if I recall. And
Yeah.
we started hanging out and we met for drinks in New York City because we happened to be there at the same time. And just from that one afternoon, evening in New York City, we're like, we should travel to Europe together.
Yeah.
Now, there's been times when I've traveled with friends that it didn't work out so well, but Anna and Michael are great travel companions. So that worked out well, and I want to travel with them again very soon.
Yay.
But in the interim, over the years, as we became friends, Anna would see me talk about my taking care of my paperwork and my receipts.
No.
That are still under my desk in a bag.
I'm not even that bad.
But she showed up to speak at ASD. And she came over to my house. And she goes, "All right, we're gonna whip you into shape here."
We did, didn't we?
Yeah. And so she's been my bookkeeper ever since. And it's one of those things that you don't want to pay for, but then when you do, and after the first year is done, you're like, oh my God, this is so nice. Now, look, if you have a 9-to-5 job where you get a normal paycheck, you don't need anything. You go do the quickie online, you're done. But all of us, we sell, we have, and we're at different levels of, sole proprietor, LLC, S Corp, whatever. And maybe we just only sell on eBay, or maybe we sell on eBay and Amazon and we make t-shirts, or we teach classes. So all of a sudden you start to get all these streams of income and you're like, I don't know how to keep track of all this. That's where a CPA comes in handy.
And we have houses, and we want to write off part of our houses, and we want to do that legally.
Or whole houses.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be you for sure.
So Anna, what were you always a number nerd when you were a kid, or how did you end up being a CPA?
Uh-oh, she froze.
Uh-oh.
What in the world is happening? I went to University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and I actually started off as a major. I wanted to be a Russian major. I wanted to learn Russian and be a translator. That was my dream. And Jason's like glazed.
Stop.
Maybe she's gonna come back.
Okay, now you're back.
I don't know why it's doing that. What do I do? Okay, we're gonna go. Anyway, I don't know if it cut off or not. I started off as a Russian major. I wanted to be a translator, and then it got really, really hard after 3 years. So I changed majors to accounting.
That sounds hard too.
Just out of the blue, you're like, accounting sounds good.
Well, a little bit. I mean, I didn't really have some big passion for it. I wanted to do something in business, and I took accounting 101. I liked it, and everyone else didn't. I'm like, oh, it felt like a challenge and a puzzle. So it just kind of clicked. I liked it. So now I'm a nerd.
Awesome. We're thankful for you.
And the one thing I keep saying, and it's great because Ecom just said this. Anna's speaking at Ecom Chicago this year. We're very excited to have her. I've been to many speeches where tax accountants, lawyers have talked things we need to hear as an e-commerce seller, but man, are they dry and boring. Like,
yeah.
But Anna is so full of just effervescence and energy. Even being like, oh my God, we're talking numbers. It's so good with her because she's not boring. And so that definitely helps.
Thank you. Well, I mean, you have to make it fun because it is boring and dry and there's a lot of detail to it, but that doesn't mean talking about it has to be boring, which is why I try to, kind of make it where people realize, all right, I may not really want to be doing this, but it's not really that bad. Once you do it, you're done and you can move on. It's almost like dreading it is worse than actually doing it.
Pull that Band-Aid off, Debbie, quick.
Exactly.
All right, so we got some questions already. Axton here said, I feel you, Axton. I'm with you, brother. I did an awful job at saving receipts. And listing my purchases last year. Now I don't know what to do to report for taxes. Any suggestions?
Yes. Well, first of all, don't worry so much about the receipts. You can see Jason has just thrown them around like confetti. Don't do that. But what I would do is get your bank statements and go through literally line by line. What's easier is to download them into Excel if you can and highlight each line. But even if it just means going to the bank, if you can't find them, and getting copies and highlighting all of the business expenses, you can do that. The receipts are really the underlying detail that supports the individual transactions. But if you're buying shipping supplies and you're buying them from, I don't know, Bubble Fast, that's what Bubble Fast sells. If you're ever audited, they might say, I need to understand what this is for. But if you at least have, having the receipts is ideal, but don't let that stop you from filing your taxes. Use that bank statement.
Is it better to totally mess up and file than just skip it?
Yes.
That's where I choked there for a second. Yes.
But I do want to define totally mess up, because if you really have no idea and you've done a poor job, this is Anna's tough love. You know how much revenue you earned because you have a third-party document that supports that, a report from eBay or a 1099 from PayPal. That's where it starts. you need to have support for every expense. So if you've done a terrible job and you have no support, you better, well, let me be nicer. I highly recommend that you file your taxes with that income on there, because they're going to be looking for it. And then anything that you can support that's an expense after that is on you. And only you can decide how comfortable you feel putting a number on the return or giving it to your CPA to put on the return without support.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying use the bank statement and go through it line by line. You know, you can't fake, I mean, you could fake a bank statement, but you're not going to fake a bank statement. So you're not totally out there with no proof of anything, but you do need to have something.
That's what I love about PayPal. I can go through PayPal and I know where I was and what I was spending my money on.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of membership subscriptions that I pay every month, and it's all right there on PayPal.
We should have a contest. Who's got the most 1099s at the end of the year?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that'd be a fun challenge. I have one client and he has 6.
I think I'm pretty close to that.
Yeah, you
Between
probably
my different platforms and you know, all the things I do. Yeah. So it's a good and a bad thing to have. Having a lot of them means I'm doing a lot of stuff, but then of course someone's got to take care of it. And her name is Anna, and she does a wonderful job.
So even though Anna's in Atlanta and Jason's in Vegas, you can still be our CPA.
Exactly. We make it work. I have clients all over the country. I did want to say something about, I would like to debunk something about the 1099. There are people who think if you do not receive a 1099, you do not need to file taxes. What do we think about that, everyone? Is that a good thinking?
No.
Or is it bad thinking? Boo.
Bad.
If you do not get a 1099, you still have earned income and you still have a responsibility to file a return.
Yeah, because they're not going to come after the person that didn't give it to you. They're going to come after you.
Exactly. Right.
Stacey is not coming over later to clean up my mess.
Now,
Good, Stacey.
do
Good.
you go to court with your clients if they get audited?
No, I do not do. That's a very specialized kind of work. I used to work in a CPA firm, and that was my job, was to help clients who were getting audited by the IRS or even by the state. CPAs can do that, enrolled agents can do that, and lawyers can do that.
Oh, good. Okay. But you choose not to?
Yeah, I don't. Because it's a really specialized thing and there's kind of an art to it. And it's that we could do a whole show about it, but it's a very small world of the IRS agents who are doing the audits in Atlanta. They know who the good CPAs are. And so you work with a good firm that has a good reputation. Usually it doesn't get that far.
Okay.
All right. What's the easiest way to get the IRS to consider us as a business and not a hobby? That's a great question.
That is actually up to you as the business owner, and it has to do with how much revenue you have made versus expenses. If you have a hobby business, then you will have what they call hobby losses, and that means you can only take a deduction to the extent of earnings. So what that means is if you have a business and for multiple years in a row, you have lost money, the IRS considers that a hobby. And there's actually a really good checklist, and it's posted in my group. You can just go on there and type hobby loss, and you're going to see I've done multiple posts about it. So it's really not the IRS considering something. It's this checklist and how many of the above items do you meet?
That's good to know.
That was an awesome question. All right. What is the best way to document cash purchases? I write them down and put them on an Excel page, but is that enough if I ever get audited?
You know, this actually comes up a lot, and I think it's a source of stress in the community, because I know if I'm going somewhere, like let's say I wanted to go to a yard sale, do some yard sailing or Goodwill or whatever, I would maybe go get $100 or $200 out of the ATM, you know, so that you can pay at the yard sale. And so people get very fretful about this, understandably, because they think I can show I took $200 out, but how do I show what I paid for the items? And this is what the IRS wants. They only want a consistent, diligent effort. So if you have, Candace has a great system. She's organized. She has Excel. She probably could say, I took out 200. I spent 75 on inventory and I put 125 back. Here's my $125 deposit. These are the items I bought with my 75. There you go. And, a lot of it too, I mentioned I worked in a firm and I helped clients who were audited by the IRS. There's kind of like a sniff test or the spidey sense. You guys know you're out in the world, you're adults, if someone, you just kind of get that feeling if they're not really being straight with you. And it works a lot like that with the IRS too. So if you're honest and you've made a consistent and diligent effort, in general, there's not a problem. But do have a system down. Take good notes. Write the date. I bet Candace does this. I bet she has date, what she bought, what she spent. Jason, quit with the receipts. It's making me nervous. Stacy, make him stop.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Yeah, I heard pictures work as well. They do. And you can even take pictures. You don't want to overcomplicate it, but now it's so easy to take a picture with your phone and upload it to stuff. Make it kind of fun and creative. Do like a fun Excel.
Oh, yeah. I've even written down addresses of where I was. I bought this at this address. I could probably go back to every house I've ever bought anything
from. And I mean, worst case scenario, okay, look at this address here. Oh, look, Google, they did have a yard sale. I mean, you want to operate from a place of I'm running a business, not I'm trying to protect myself if I'm audited, but with just a little bit in place, you can kind of keep up with it as you go and you don't have to worry. What you don't want to do, and I see this, I wanted the person who had the yard sale to sign the receipt. They may not want to do that. Because they're selling and that's actually income. And so, you want to be respectful of what their boundaries are.
That's true.
And it's funny, as you were saying about taking the pictures, Rich and I are like, I heard pictures work well too.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I totally forgot to have some good overtop graphics. So I just got a couple. So there we go.
Fancy. Is this one I can tell my accountant joke?
Sure, hit us.
This is my favorite accountant joke. What?
Must be good. She's already laughing.
What does an accountant use for birth control? Their personality.
Oh,
the lawyer told me that.
Oh my gosh.
Let's
All
see.
right, Angela Ritchie snuck in late. We saw you, Angela.
Hi, Angela. How detailed do we need to be on donations? Here's the thing. I'm not sure what kind of donations you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about charitable donations that go onto your personal return or a different kind of donation, like you can no longer sell this item, so you're just going to donate it. And I think it's probably number 2, but that gets into the whole idea of cost of goods sold, which could be actually an entire course in college. But in the end, if you do not sell something and you throw it in the trash, you donate it, it doesn't matter. All that means is that you are writing off the cost of whatever it is that you spent on it. You don't get any benefit from it. If you decide to write those items off and then you give it to Goodwill, you know how they give you that little, at the thrift store, that little receipt? You can't do both. That's double dipping. So just be really careful.
Yeah, she said donating goods to Goodwill to kind of clarify what she was talking about.
Right. Yes. So hopefully I answered your question. Just make sure that you're not both taking the expense as inventory you can no longer sell and donating it, because that's 2 in 1.
I do want to point out that Candace said she's a nerd too.
Hi, girl.
Laura said, yay, nerds. Stacy said, Anna needs wine.
I know. What was I thinking? Water, ice water.
I don't know. And then there's a Bill Wider in the audience. Bill Wider. What are the chances of the small sellers being audited?
Oh, good question, Henny.
Well, there's 2 reasons people get audited. The number 1 reason that people get audited is just bad luck. The IRS does actually do just random picking. Nothing we can do about that. But if you've done everything and you're diligent, you've made your, diligent effort and consistent effort, then you're going to be fine. There are times when people get audited. There are certain red flags that pop up. And the next question is going to be, well, what are the red flags? One of the urban legends is if you take a home office deduction, that creates a red flag. I can't tell you if that's true or not, but I can tell you in my experience working at the CPA firm for a couple of years, helping clients who were getting audited, that was never one of them. Not one single time. So I don't know. Maybe I just never came across that. So the chances of small sellers being audited, truly, I've had in my Facebook group, probably 4 people, 5 people maybe, who've said I was audited and here's what happened. In my world of clients that I haven't now in my accounting business, I haven't had any of those people be audited. But, I know this sounds crazy, but if you've done a somewhat decent job with your books, the auditors are just going to let you go. They're going to take a first pass. They're going to think, you know what, there's nothing going on here. I'm going to move on to, more fertile hunting grounds. This isn't going to get me anywhere. Let me say this. If you ever get a letter from the IRS about being audited, do not respond yourself. Please, please, please go get a CPA. Because as I said, it's a very small world, the world of these IRS auditors. If you get a letter and a CPA sends it and they're like, oh, that's a respectful firm and I know that person, it's going to go a lot better than if you try to DIY it yourself. Do not do that.
That's the best tip ever.
As painful as it is to have to write a check to defend yourself, especially if you haven't done anything. But I'm telling you right now that you don't need to do that. Here's another little tip, and I don't mean to get off on a tangent, but have you guys ever heard of the Taxpayer Advocacy Office? This is really, really important.
I was just hanging out there last week.
Shut up. That was when you were on pain pills. So if you are a taxpayer and you truly do not have resources and you've tried to settle something yourself, please contact the Taxpayer Advocacy Group or the Taxpayer Advocacy Office. They're inside of the IRS, but their job is to help us work with the IRS. So you can always try that before you try to deal with something yourself. And they're actually really helpful, believe it or not.
I've heard that a sales tax audit is far, far worse than an IRS audit. That's when people don't pay their sales tax to their states.
Yeah. I actually do have a client and then someone I know who has had a sales tax audit. They're both getting money back.
That's a good one.
You just can't tell.
All right. Bill said he's trying to keep Debbie out of jail.
Hey, that's all right,
Bill.
We
Stacey said, good luck, Bill.
That's what Stacey said too.
Bill said, well, not trying that hard.
Yeah. We use an enrolled agent. I just take it to Phil, and I try to be really organized. But yeah, it's nice to pay, even though we have to pay. It's nice to have somebody looking out for us. So
yes,
I advise that you hire Anna.
I don't do taxes. Thank you. Someone said, what is your business name? This is not about me advertising, but my Facebook group is Accounting We Will Go. So please join. You can ask a million questions in there free all day long. Jason's an admin. So if you act up, we're going to do good cop, bad cop. I'll let you guys decide who the bad cop is. But you can ask. Yes, thank you. Accounting We Will Go. You can go in there and you can join and ask questions free. And I do not give specific tax advice. That would be irresponsible. But in general, I can talk about things like someone just said, don't forget about mileage. It's 57 cents a mile. That's correct.
Okay.
So I put the link for Anna's group in the chat. Go there. I told Anna when she started the group, she didn't have any admins. I said, look, just make me an admin. I don't give a crap about your group. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But if you're ever like on a plane somewhere and then craziness is going off, at least I'm there as a friend to squash it down. And the one day, though, I did wake up kind of bleary-eyed. I was adding people to what I thought was my group. And then I messaged Anna. I go, I just added 30 people to your group. I'm so sorry.
Well, maybe
all of a sudden Ray-Bans and all kinds.
Yeah, I've only ever done that once. So I'm like, whoops, my bad. So someone says 57 cents and someone says 58 cents. Do you know what it is?
It could be. It changes. And let me say this. If you're using an accounting software like QuickBooks or whatever, mileage is a non-cash tax deduction. That means you do not need to enter that into your accounting software. It just goes on the return.
So Laura says, I don't do mileage because I still take my standard deduction, ?
Those are a little bit different. The standard deduction is based generally on your marital status and a couple of other things. And the mileage deduction, like the home office deduction, you can possibly still take even if you take the standard deduction. And it gets complicated because are you filing a Schedule C with your business? If so, I mean, there's a lot to it. So,
oh my God, I love the Schedule C. It's my favorite.
Oh, I love it too.
Did you see Pam's comment, Pam Sheffield?
No, what did Pam say?
I haven't got to Pam's yet. Hang on. I'm going in order. Hang on.
I'm sorry. It's right there flashing red lights at me. Oh my gosh, poor girl.
So Rich Anila said you need 25,000 donations for charity. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I don't want to say it's not true, but the charitable deduction gets complicated. It also depends on who you're donating to. It depends on how long you've held the item. For example, if you buy art and you donate it within the first year, you can only take a deduction, a charitable deduction for what you paid. If it's a year longer, then you can get it appraised and you get a charitable deduction for what it actually appraised for. It gets really, really complicated.
Wow.
I just want to point out that Tenna said she's a noted nerd here also.
Hi, Tenna. Yay.
So Beck says, my main income is hairdressing and makeup. I'm definitely employed. Should I include reselling income with that, or does it need to be separate?
In general, you will have a separate Schedule C if the businesses are different enough. So if you, also it depends on materiality. And I know that you didn't just make $10 reselling income, but let's say that you had this very lucrative hairdressing and makeup business, and then you had some reselling income, and maybe you sold makeup and you had like $1,000 on it. It would make sense to put that on a return. But let's say that you did hairdressing and makeup on one, and then you had the second business where you're reselling all kinds of random stuff and has nothing to do with the other one. Your CPA is likely to advise you that you want 2 separate Schedule Cs. And remember, the Schedule C is basically the income statement for your business, and all of that rolls into your personal tax return. So it really is just one big return.
All right, so Tenna had a horrible IRS audit.
Oh, no.
Settled and no fines, so that's good.
I'm glad.
Tammy said I was audited 2 years in a row about 20 years ago. They both went fine because they had all my paperwork. I'm sure that makes Anna's heart just swell.
Oh, it does. Oh.
She had all her paperwork, and wait, I had one more. She kept her numbers going.
Yay.
All right, what was next? Did you?
That gives us hope if it ever happens to any of us. This might be okay.
Well, it will be. And, you know, it also depends on the agent, too. If it's someone who's just a grouchy person, they're just going to be grouchy to work with. I mean,
yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a little bit of luck involved.
So Ecom Chicago, I could read this 2 ways. I've had my accountant for 30 years and he had 7 audits. Has he been audited 7 times? Or has only 7 of his clients been audited? But if he only has 7 clients, again, not on a great track record.
Exactly. We need more information.
Yes, I'm going to guess he's got a lot of clients, and over 30 years, he's only had 7 audits. But you could read that many, many ways.
Yeah.
There's Pam's. My Florida sales tax audit was far worse than my IRS audit.
Hug, Pam, hug.
I would panic. I would just cry.
Honestly, I would panic too. That's just human nature. Like, oh my gosh. But I'm telling you from the other side of it, it really, it's not necessarily fun, but it's not panic. It does not have to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
So have you ever had a client, and you can throw me in that mix, that you were just like, I can't, and then just walk away? Has it ever been so bad? Like we've all been to estate sales or garage sales. We walk in and went, nope, and left because the house was that disgusting.
Well, it's actually yes and no. I have a client, and I really liked him a lot as a person, but he was getting so far into debt, financing inventory. I did not feel comfortable anymore charging him money because his business.
Oh, cliffhanger. Oh. Come back, Anna.
Yeah.
All right.
Am I here?
His business, and that's where you stopped.
You're like, cliffhanger, what? This is a fascinating story. I don't understand. Anyway, I really like this guy a lot as a person. He was a client for a long time. His business was not doing well. And it got to the point he got his mom to get a mortgage on her home, and she was like 70 to buy inventory. And I felt not from a judgmental place, but I did not feel comfortable charging him money anymore. And I was like, I cannot do this for free, and I cannot charge you. I have to end this relationship. So that's an example.
Yeah. And hopefully that made him realize I'm really in deep trouble here.
No, it's tough. Well, and you guys know how tempting it is. You see this thing and you want to buy it, and then things aren't going well, and not for you specifically, but we've all seen that. And people really, really need to make money in this business. No one's doing it just I have nothing better to do. I'm going to do this. And it does. I've noticed it. It's almost like this gambling mentality sometimes where people get in a little over their head, or they have more inventory and they enjoy buying more than listing. And it can definitely on life of its own sometimes.
All right, Anna, we got a question. You're going to be like, oh my. All right, Jennifer, I'm glad you said it, but here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
I've been reselling for a year. I don't even know where to start. I have read online, if your sales are not 20,000, you don't have to file.
That is not true. And I'm so glad you asked, Jennifer. Yeah. Unlike Jason, I will not be cringing and crying. I will say, thank you for asking to help me debunk this, because this is, and I said it earlier, this is a really common misconception. If you do not get a 1099, which will not happen unless your sales are 20,000, you still have a responsibility to file. So thank you for asking.
Yeah. If you make money,
yeah,
because people think, if you get to 19,999, like, I'm good.
Right. Well, I've seen people say I'm going to slow down or I'm going to stop because I don't want to I'm getting too close to 20,000. And of course, that's when I'm like passing out. I need my smelling salts. I can't handle it. But
Jennifer, and the other part to that is, not that I'm going to pat myself on the back, but I'm going to pat my whole group on the back. When you read stuff online in other groups, a lot of it is just bunk. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about the thrifting board is we do not allow, nor do we publish anything that is false, misleading. All of my admins, my friends like Anna and Debbie, we all know what we're doing. We all know what's going on. So when you get a direct answer like that, you are getting the correct answer. So if you're reading that in any group, I would leave that group immediately, because that is so not true. So not true.
That group could get you in a lot of trouble in other ways too.
Yeah. And funny, because today something happened amazing in the thrifting board where one person helped another person make a lot more money than they could have. And so my admins were like, we should do a show on how we help each other.
Oh,
and
cool, yeah.
I said, and then we're going to go that extra mile, and I'm going to share some things from other groups that are just crazy wrong information. Like, I won't say the group's name, but I'm like, this is what I see in other groups. Like they just put out total misinformation. And that's only going to hurt the entire reselling community, because people are like, well, I read it, so it should be true.
I wanted to say to Jennifer too, it's good that you're just a year. You can start now. If she had said, I've been selling for 10 years and then wow.
I've been selling for 27 years. I haven't filed taxes yet. Oops.
Yeah. I love spreadsheets. we use the Google spreadsheets.
I love a spreadsheet too.
Yeah. Everything.
Pete's treasures. Very true. Reselling can really be gambling addiction if not checked, for sure.
Yes.
Hoarding addiction and all kinds of things.
All right, Tennis says, if we moved across the country this year, is that deductible?
This is going to be my favorite answer. It depends. Why did you move? And there are actually times when moving can be partially tax deductible. So that's one of those gray area ones. It's not worth going to what the checklist is, but you can certainly do a little bit of internet research but have your CPA kind of bless anything that you want to put on the return related to that.
And that's where Anna's group is helpful in itself, because there is good discussions over there that can help you with. And Anna, like myself, we run good quality groups that aren't, Anna's not allowing ridiculous claims to.
No, I run it like NPR. Very focused. No fun at all.
No fun. No fun. So Candace says, if it's under $600, you don't have to file, correct?
I think that $600 might be coming from that number. If you have someone who's working as a contractor and they make $600 or more, you have to issue a 1099. So maybe that's what you're thinking of, 600. And there are times that people don't need to file, but again, there's like a list and criteria, and but that's not the case for that particular situation.
So it's probably better to file if you don't need to, instead of not filing when you did need to. So if you file, they're just going to be like, oh, okay, well, but then, and I think a lot of people are afraid, oh no, now I'm on the radar. Just don't mess with the IRS. Just
Here's the thing. They have a list of everyone's social security number. They know you're out there. So
all right, this is a good one. Candace is giving us all the good stuff.
Come on, Candace.
I already know the answer, but I'm going to put it up there. This is a good one. Right. Write-off question, please. I was told you can't write off your food expenses unless you stay the night.
No. So there again, there are rules. There's a checklist about how far you are from your home, why you were there, how long you're going to be there. It's kind of related to a business trip.
Oh my gosh. It's a cliffhanger yet again.
Oh no, why is this happening? Right one. I think Jason has a button and he's like, stop it.
My hands are right here.
Start getting into
All right.
it. Okay.
You sort of say business trip, and that's where we lost you.
Yeah, it's a lot like a business trip. It depends on why you're that far away, how long you're going to be that far away, how far away you are. So you can go on. It's covered a lot on the internet. Just Google. But simply spending the night does not mean that that you can expense it. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So again, it depends. Which is why this stuff is so frustrating. There's so many rules and so many it depends, and they change, and it's a headache.
That's why I think it's so important to hire someone. Like I said, we use an enrolled agent, and we own a home. So, there's a little bit more complicated for us, but it just gives you that peace of mind that you are trying. And I would think if you got audited and you were using a CPA or an enrolled agent, they would have better faith in you, right?
I'm telling you right now, it's going to go a lot better, which is why I said, please do not respond to any correspondence yourself. I mean, you could certainly do it, but it's not a good idea, in my opinion.
Where do we find that hobby quiz again?
Oh, you can go in my group and just type hobby loss or just the word hobby. But you can also go, if you just want to Google it, you can go online and type hobby IRS or something like that. And there's a checklist. But in general, there's really nothing that you can or can't do. It has to do with whether or not you're earning revenue over a certain period of time. And here's what happens. If you lost money for 3 years and then you earned money in the last 2, you have a net income for 5 years, you can deduct more things as a business than if you're a hobby.
Yay. Let's get that calculator out and add some stuff up. There we go.
Yeah.
This is a great one because I have always had someone helping me and working with me. What are the steps you need to take when you're about to hire someone on as an assistant, i.e. the neighborhood kid to take photos? Anna will be back with us in a second.
Debbie disappeared too. It wasn't just me. Debbie disappeared also. You may have to issue them a 1099, so get them to fill out the form. I think it's a W-9 where they have their name and their address and their social security number.
Good.
You might find out the hard way if you do not get that up front and you want to issue them a 1099, they're not going to cough up that social security number.
Yep. I always have at least one person a year working for me, and got to have them fill out their paperwork. It's real easy. You just print it off, online. You download the blank form. They sign it and all their stuff. I take a photocopy of their ID, and then I'm all good.
Exactly. It's pretty straightforward.
This is where I always have to get on my soapbox too, because this happened to my brother. He had an independent contractor working for him. It got into a huge mess, cost my brother thousands and thousands of dollars, because there's a fine line between an employee and an independent contractor. Know what you're doing. And you got to make sure, because it was a huge mess. It never should have happened, but it taught me so much. And as independent contractors, you can't necessarily tell them, I want you to do X, Y, Z, and I want it done by 2:00. You have to know how to treat your independent contractors, or you can get yourself in a lot of trouble, because they could get mad at you one day, what happened to my brother, and turn around and file against you. My brother had to get attorneys. It was tens of thousands of dollars in court. It was awful. So now I'm always like, as soon as someone starts talking assistants, know what you're doing.
Yes, Debbie always reminds me, I have independent contractors working for me.
They're not employees. Don't ever use that word with them, ever. Even in passing.
There is actually a checklist again, and you can go on my website or my Facebook group and find it. You can go on the IRS site, but it has to do with control. If someone is allowed to decide when they work, that's much more of an independent contractor. If you tell them you have to be here from 8 to 5, an employee handbook, Jason's grinning like, No,
I'm kind of loosey-goosey, so it stays away.
Yeah, so, just make sure that you read, because a lot of people think they have an independent contractor, but they really don't.
Yeah, good.
So, Rich said when PayPal quit sending out the 1099s in the mail, a friend of mine never put his e-com money on his tax form. Then he got caught when the IRS went back 3 years to check everything. It costs a lot of money. So, yes, it is so much better to be on the up and up and then have to deal with it later. So Jennifer came back and said, so if I don't make 20,000, do I do the 1099 or the 1040?
So the 1099 is something that another entity issues to you. So if you made more than 20,000, you will get a 1099 from PayPal, for example. The 1040 is the number on the tax form that you file. So those are two different things.
Yeah. So my independent contractors are getting a 1099 from me.
Right.
And there's different types of 1099s too. There's the miscellaneous, there's the K.
All right. So this I have no clue. What? Speaking of being audited, my CPA has an option to pay extra if I would get audited. Is it worth it to pay the extra? I think it's like $50. Is that like insurance? What are we talking about here, Anna?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
you've never made me pay $50.
She already told you she's not going to help you.
Well, true. I know if I get audited, Anna's like, I don't know him.
Until tomorrow.
Yeah. So I have no clue what your CPA is trying to tell you there.
Yeah, I would get clarification about what that includes, because I can tell you now that having to work with someone who's audited is probably, I mean, weeks of work. So I'm not sure how $50 extra would help, but
I think they have to do more work if someone gets audited. So if they have to help you, they can pay extra in advance in case you get audited, but I hate to pay extra if I don't need to. You know, it's kind of like when you buy concert tickets nowadays, they give you this BS option for insurance in case you can't make it. Well, the amount of concerts I've not made it to are pretty small. So if I was to pay an extra $5 per ticket for every concert I went to, that's ridiculous. You should have car insurance. You don't need to have concert ticket insurance, you know? So I think this $50 is kind of BS.
Yeah. I talked before the show, I wanted Anna to talk about when you do consignments, there is a form that you're supposed, everybody hates me when I bring this up, but if you're doing consignments with people, there is a form to fill out. Can you talk about that?
Well, I'm not sure what form are you talking about? And
it's either the 1099K or the 1099 miscellaneous.
Okay, so what you're talking about is when you pay the person for the consigned goods at the end of the year, you've paid them X amount. So they are giving you something and you list, you sell it, and then you give them a cut from whatever the bottom line is. Yes. Right. So you do need to issue a 1099 for that. And that's a good example of where it's important to get their social security number ahead of time or EIN or whatever they have, because they're not going to want to get that form. Right. I mean, they're not going to want to get that 1099. They're just not.
Yeah, because they thought you just gave them all this money and it's under the table, and it's
right.
Not. Mm-hmm. I sell for my library, which is a nonprofit, so I don't have to 1099.
Right.
But I've had clients that I had to, and I told them up front, and when the time came, they were livid.
Well, I mean, they got income, so.
Right. Yeah, but people don't understand that, and a lot of people selling, and that's when I see people talk about, oh, this person wants me to consign for them. I think it's if you're over $600. So it's another thing. Know what you're doing. You want that paper trail.
All right, we got 2 questions left, and the last one is so epic because Anna and I have done this kind of show before. The last one I've never, ever seen anyone ask. So let's go with this one first.
Okay.
What do you do if you hire someone from Fiverr to VA for you? And I'm going to guess the second part of that question is if they're not from this country.
Well, either way, Fiverr, and I've done that before, hired people from Fiverr. It's a great resource, by the way, if you guys need help with, things. I really like Fiverr, but they will issue the paperwork to the person for you.
Oh, good. That's good.
Double check. That's how it has been. Obviously, things can change, but double check it. But they, it's just like we are selling things on eBay and we're getting money from people. Well, PayPal gives us the 1099. It's kind of the same thing. Fiverr does the paperwork for that.
Hey, before we get to the epic question, if Rich said if they get the 1099 and don't report it, the IRS will know. So if you had someone that was an independent contractor for you and you issue them a 1099, they're like, yeah, I'm just not going to mention this. Mm-hmm. Could that ever bounce back to me
No,
Okay, good.
you've done your part.
'Cause
No.
I've had some people over the years. I'm like, I bet they're not even going to report.
Yeah,
this.
like you wouldn't be
I did my part.
Yep, you did your part. That's all you have to do.
All
No
right.
citizen's arrest necessary.
Are you ready for the most epic question I've ever seen when we're having these kind of talks?
Yes.
I think we need a cocktail. I think we need to clean off the screen first. I think we need to have some fireworks, get our calculator out, because this is a question I would be willing to bet $5 you've never had this question.
Okay.
But first,
let's see.
Does Anna thrift?
I do. I do. I've been thrifting with you in Ghent.
Oh, yeah. All right. And wait, this is not the epic one, but it's a great question. What if you're selling your personal stuff? Do you have to pay tax on that?
Yes, you do. And here's how it works. Let's say that you sold something and you sold it for $100, but at some point you paid something for that thing. And everyone says, I don't know what I paid for it. I don't remember. If you don't remember and you truly don't know, the most conservative thing is to pay tax on the entire $100. However, in general, inventory is valued at lower of cost or market. So if you do some research, you're not sure, document it, make a diligent effort and then run it by your tax CPA. No one has a receipt from, 10 years ago, stuff in a closet, but you can't just sell it and not have any kind of tax.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Leave it to Angela to come up with this one.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
What if the W-9 person goes to jail and I can't send a 1099?
I would send it to their attorney.
Have you ever had that question before?
I have never had that question.
All right. I won $5. Who's paying me?
I've never had that question.
Angela, you got stories, girl.
I know. Thank you, Angela. I love that question.
I've had independent contractors who've been bouncing around, and if I can't get a hold of them, I send it to the address that was on their paperwork, and so
yeah,
I'm covered.
Right. And Candace said, if you have to pay taxes on personal stuff, why have garage sales? Or am I supposed to report that? You are supposed to report that. Sorry.
Technically, yes.
No, technically, you are.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
I think
it makes it sound like there's a but.
I think a lot of people are going to have a drink after this show tonight.
It's a true story, Angela said. Oh, Angela.
Oh.
So what does a CPA do the day after tax season's over?
This year, I am flying to Romania to go to Dracula's castle.
Wow, that's quite a trip.
Every year is April 16th your holiday?
Yes, and April 17th is my birthday, so it's perfect.
Oh, nice.
So Anna, again, let's show her group. Let me get it back up here.
Yes, please join the group. It's free. It always has been free. No charges. I don't spam you. I ask for your email, but if you don't want to give it to me, you don't have to, and you can still get in.
Yep.
It's so awesome. It's just so awesome to have access to you, Anna, for you to come on and do this and then have a free group for us to go in, and that's amazing.
Thank you. This is my way of giving back. I think it's really important to give back in our world as we go around. Sometimes we buy coffee for the person behind us in Starbucks. Sometimes we call the manager of a store where we had a good experience and share about an awesome cashier. And this is my way to give back, because everyone in this community is so nice. I've met great friends and I meet more fun people, and I'm just really grateful. So join the Nerd Fest. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing to do, to reach out to somebody to tell them that their staff or their employees did a good job, because they hardly ever hear that. It's always, here's when your employee screwed up. And our local quarter mile away Subway, we've never had a bad experience there, but all of a sudden the employees were so effervescent and so extra, like outgoing and friendly. And when we used Apple Pay, our app, to log in, that we were there. And so the owner, sent us a little, hey, thanks for shopping at my store. Anything we can do to improve it? And I said, hey, Stace, take the time to let him know his staff is incredible. And he wrote back and said, yeah, we just took over that Subway, and we wanted to make sure we had a staff that was all outgoing and friendly. And I'm like, man, it shows. And I'm sure that made his day, and it really made the employees' day, because he was able to go back to them and go, you guys are doing a kick-ass job here. So when you can, reach out to somebody and say, thanks for the good job.
Absolutely. It's a great way to give back, a random act of kindness that doesn't cost any money.
Oh, and one of the most important question, what's the jacket I have on? It's Nautica. Where am I going?
Oh,
Nautica is one of the brands that do make big and tall sizes for the big fellas. And so I get all my Nautica stuff. So I actually think I'm the white rapper because I have a whole tracksuit of this camo.
So it must be cold in Vegas if you're wearing that.
Yeah, here's the problem though, and I should have taken this off. I turned the heat up because I was cold and put the sweatshirt on, so I'm really hot right now. Kathy, same birthday as you, 4/17.
Happy birthday, girl. Aries.
Yes, let's show Anna some love. And down below here, give us a thumbs up right beneath where that little arrow is. And if you've not subscribed before, click on the subscribe button and then click the little bell. The bell lets you know when we're going live. That works for anybody you follow on YouTube. Anna, you are too cool to be a CPA. Thanks for making accounting fun. You just made Anna's day.
You sure did. Making accounting fun again.
Rich says, we can't wait to meet you in October. Bring your hubby too. I can't wait to hear you sing at the karaoke party.
Ooh, that takes a lot of wine to make me sing.
So everyone, I hope
not a dare. That's not a dare.
No, yeah. I hope this is a little, make you feel a little bit better. And if not, head over to Anna's group. You should be paying your taxes. It's a necessary evil. But if you're paying taxes, that means typically means you're making money. So that's a good thing.
Exactly.
And, the whole goal of the Thrifting Board is to help sellers of all sizes and levels make sure they're on the path to success with actual correct information. And Anna doing her yearly Ask Me Anything is part of that. So thank you, Anna, for taking time out of your day.
Thank you, guys.
To help us. And I can't wait to see pictures and hear your stories from Romania.
Yes.
But I'm going to see you in a few weeks.
I will see you at ASD. Yeah. We'll see you in a month or so. If you guys are there, say hi. Send me a message on Facebook. We'll get together.
Are you speaking, Anna, at ASD?
I am. Yes, I am. I'm very excited about it.
Bill,
yeah, the year I retire, Anna's speaking, Joy speaking twice. I'm like, I thought I didn't have to go this year. Now I got to go support my friends and just clap in the audience.
Well, you retiring opened up the hole for more people to come in. So thank you.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful evening, Secret Beachcombers. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Bye.
And then Monday. Oh, Mom and I will be on Sunday. I don't know what the heck our topic is yet, but I will have prizes. So if you watched last week, you know what the questions are. Just saying, if you didn't watch us on Sunday, go watch and you'll know what the questions are. I'm going to have prizes to give out. So, all right, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm going to go home and have some dinner with my honey. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see everyone around the Thrifting Board. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.